Hey guys, I had something to ponder with you, and I'll let you look at these little flowers that I sat down to check out. It's still basically winter, so any little bit like that is kind of precious. Anyhow, what do you think about the possibility that there's nothing that needs to be done on this planet? There's no one here to fix, there's nothing to undo that someone did wrong before, or something to build on the planet, or a species to evolve, or whatever other angle you could come at it. Maybe you want to argue that there's an economy to win out so that democracy can be predominant over the planet. Because that's the only way to happiness and peace and whatever, survival issue you see. So there's that option, or there's the possibility that there's nothing that needs to be done, nothing that needs to be fixed, no one that needs to be taught, no culture that needs to be developed. But then it's like, well, what are we here for? What about the possibility, which I think puts some other pieces in the equation that don't make sense when you think about us all having to, save the economy so that we can save the world. But anyhow, so if you think of it from the perspective of a soul, that, there's, in every religion basically, there's a story about a soul, an energy, or whatever, a life, before being born onto this planet, and that it continues on to a life after it's gone. Now, you may or may not add in the part about they come back around and they do it again and again. I don't know if that's really that important for this discussion anyway, but clearly everybody's coming from somewhere and going somewhere. So what about the possibility that we're just souls that come into the experience of planet Earth, and we get to play with matter? Time apparently doesn't exist out in the world. Matter doesn't really exist. It's all seen as energy waves. And energy waves are cool, but apparently matter is something to play with. And that's why we're here, to play with being energy balls, souls, that conjure up matter and become something that they can experience each other with. And it's been explained to me a long time ago, but it didn't really seem like new news for some reason. It all just sort of, I remember it, I guess. I'm like, I get the picture. I've always felt like we're just a soul traveling through the universe for eternity. And we're energy balls. And there's probably only one energy, God, and we're all an aspect of it, a little piece of it, a little ray, one ray of the light of God shining all over the universe, giving all the energy to the universe of becoming. And what's it becoming? Whatever it wants to become. But it's going to be within a certain parameters, because the energy is going to be at a certain vibration. If you set your radio dial at country music, you're going to get country music. That's what station your frequency's on. We've got to turn the dial a little bit to make it something different. But you're, on planet Earth as a soul, there's a certain expectation that it's going to be a certain way at a certain time, and all that kind of stuff. So, for the soul's perspective, there's nothing lost. There's nothing at risk here. You just came here to experience it. And experience what? Well, whatever it is. It's a whole lot of people in an advanced society all loving on each other, or it's a whole lot of people being barbarians and fighting for survival every time they encounter another human being that isn't part of their tribe or something. It doesn't really matter. Because to the soul, there's really nothing at risk. It's just a go-round on planet Earth. And when you think about that, you think, well, gosh, how does God fit into that? And if that's the case, why doesn't everybody say that's the case? Or you think we would have figured that out by now, or whatever. Or maybe everyone and every spiritual teacher you've ever found told you you need to do more, be more, and have more. And if that's what you really resonate with, then I'm not going to argue out of that point. I'm just saying, do you realize there's a spectrum on where you can place your thinking? Now, moving on from that debate, because we could go a long ways in that, let's just say you felt like, you know what, there's probably more to the side of nothing needs to be done, and we're just a soul with no big consequence, and there's no punishment, other than if you think you deserve to be punished while you're here on earth, you will feel like you're being punished. And if you don't feel like you deserve to be punished, then you'll let go of some of the punishment, and you will be in a happier state. That's the key to happiness, in case anybody wanted to write that down. So everything's so simple. But anyway, there's nothing that we need to do here. You can't do it wrong, and you never get it done. It's always happening and happening and happening for eternity. It'll move on to some other planets. There's other stuff going on all around the galaxy. There's stuff going on. Just like you walk through the garden or through the woods, everywhere you turn is like a different plant, a different something, a different whatever. And they're all intermixed, and it's all going on. And that's the same thing in the universe. There's a lot going on. We're beings that measure wavelengths, and we can perceive sound waves, we can perceive light waves, we can perceive densities and things like that. So we got these basic things that we can perceive, but that's like a 2% of all the wavelengths that are out there. We say, well, who really cares about, other waves? Unless it's a microwave, we can use it to heat up our food, or radio wave, and we could play TV and music. So yeah, okay, we've stretched it to maybe 3%, 4%, but there's so much that we don't get of what's going on in the universe. This isn't the place to try to figure it out either. There's no need to figure it out. No need to do any of that. So if you were trying to be a little softer on yourself, a little bit more like, hey, everything's okay, then you need to sort of remind yourself and trick yourself, because everything around you is going to say, go do something, go fix something, go be something, go impress me. And everything around you is going to say that to you all day long, and so is your own mind from your own memory of what you were taught as a child. So you'd have to fight it back a little bit. So you'd have to take like a video like this and listen to it every day or something. But that doesn't work for sure. Don't do that. Because whatever you're doing, don't keep doing the same thing if you're trying to trick yourself up the ladder of feeling like everything's perfect around you. And there's nothing I need to get up and go fix. And anyway, so we'll leave that part. So if you're going to try to improve your view or your sense of things around you, there's a lot of ways it can be done. But first, just admitting that there's a possibility that we should be bumping ourselves in that direction. Then maybe when you look around at things, maybe we'll figure out some of those exact, tricks, couple of tricks. One is stop watching the news. Stop keeping track of what's going on as interpreted by the people who say everything's going to hell in a handbag and we need to do something about it. So if you want to listen to those people, then that's what you're going to get. The more you listen to them, the more you buy in, the worse you're going to feel about everything going on around here, because there's no way you're going to keep up with what you think needs to happen, all the things that need to change. Instead of just being like, this is just the way the planet's rolling right now. Let's think about the 99% of the things that are going right. The planet's still orbiting properly. The vibrations are just right. We're interacting with each other as humans and plants and animals. We're maintaining our health pretty well. And the sun's doing just the right temperature. And we're, you really can't, you could say a lot of things could be getting ready to get worse. But you can't say there isn't a hell of a lot of things that are going right. A lot more things going right. And if you just focus on things that are going right, just that one little trick, that's what gratitude's all about. That's what appreciation's all about. That's what all that stuff is about. And that's why they tell you that's the ticket. It's the ticket into letting your mind stop focusing on what's wrong and feeling like you need to fix something. There's nothing that needs to be fixed. Nothing's going wrong. Enjoy the process. Take your time. And you will, this is an important point, you will come up with something that you want to do. But it'll be a different kind of doing. It'll be something you're doing because it's helping others to sit down and relax, or it's a more enjoyable thing. Maybe you're cooking, maybe you're cleaning, maybe you're doing whatever. Maybe you're counting numbers or putting numbers on spreadsheets. But those are just things that you look for a little bit every day for something to do. Because you do need something to do. But you need time to relax. You need time to process everything that's going on. And most of all, I think, you need to find time to keep finding new tricks to remind you that there's not anything here we need to accomplish. Nobody's doing it wrong, especially ourselves. And there's no one in the entire, here's a big point, there's no one else in the entire universe that's more important for us to be focusing on than ourselves. So if you think there's people around you suffering, you need to go straighten things out and fix the government and fix things or go fix them or whatever, just sit down first and work on yourself. But you'll never be done working on yourself, so really you're never going to go bother trying to fix everybody else. You be the beaming light, you be the brightest star, you be the happiest person, you be the most loving and accepting, and other people around you will relax a little bit. And if enough people do that, then you change the whole world. But you don't need to be running around trying to fix anyone else, that's for sure. But it sure feels good. It's like, oh, I'm doing this for them, I'm doing this for them. Some people are so busy doing things for other people. And then when you talk to the other people, they're like, I wish they weren't doing all these things for me. I wish I could do something myself. I wish they'd let me be who I want to be. And I'm just like, it's always a lose-lose when you go trying to fix and help other people. Leave other people alone and look at your own challenge of, why do I feel like I have something I need to do? There must be something that you need to do if the other person's not doing it right. Because otherwise, what are you trying to fix about the other person? Oh, well, they're suffering. Yes, they're suffering. They're suffering from the same disease you're suffering from. Leave everyone alone. Leave everything alone. Sit with yourself and find some peace, harmony, and love around you. Like these little flowers. I don't even know if they're really showing up on the camera. But they sure are nice. And, give peace a chance. I think, is that a song, I think? But anyway, that's all I have to say. And hopefully I'm holding the phone the right way, and I got to hit the off button. So anyway, good luck, guys. See ya.